It's Patrick Legreed from Half Wheel, and in this review, I'm checking out the new ST Dupont Slimmy, a new flat flame lighter that came out in late September of 2023. Now, an interesting and fitting name for sure, as the lighter measures just 0.31 inches thick. It stands 2.67 inches tall and 1.45 inches wide, while weighing in at a respectable 2.8 ounces, giving it some decent weight and density in the hands. Now, fans of ST Dupont will immediately recognize that the Slimmy borrows some design cues from one of the company's most famous lighter lines, the Ligne 2, although there is no lid, so there is no ping, and there is also no roller ignition, as the Slimmy gets a side squeeze ignition. Now, the Slimmy comes in 9 finishes. There are 6 lacquer finishes, each priced at $350, from your familiar blacks and blues to a light blue and a coral color. There's this diamond head model, which is available in either gold or chrome. This is the gold version. It's priced at $370. And then rounding out the options is one that's part of the company's Picasso collection, featuring the painter's famous portrait of Jacqueline in a straw hat that was created back in 1962. That version is priced at $375. Now, to use the Slimmy, all you need to do is squeeze in the side squeeze ignition. The single action ignition starts the flow of the butane and then provides the spark at the same time as you hear the click. Simply hold in the ignition to keep the flame going, then release to extinguish, and there you go. Now, you'll notice that the flame is on the smaller side of the spectrum, almost an exception to the trend of the wider flat flames that feel like they've made up most of the new lighter releases recently. Let's turn down the lights and show you what this looks like. So again, nice flat flame. I have this maybe a hair or two higher than I normally would because I want to make sure you can see the flame. But again, nice solid flame, very reliable ignition. Some folks call this a spade flame, others call it a pyramid flame, or just a flat flame. Sort of fans out there at the base and then comes to a smaller point at the top. The advantage being you can kind of paint the foot of your cigar with a nice wide flame to light it and toast it, as opposed to using the traditional jet torches. So, now that we've had the lighter burning for a little bit, it makes for a great opportunity to talk about what I found to be the biggest drawback of the Slimmy, and it's that this upper part here gets quite hot, as in, like, I don't want to touch it or get near it hot if I've had to use it for any longer than what I'd call an average amount of time to light a cigar. And even then it gets warm, but not crazy hot. And yes, I know this is a torch lighter and torch lighters get hot, but this really gets hot, like at the right end of the spectrum hot. Now, beyond that, there's no fuel window, which I would like to have, and the flame adjuster is fairly small down there on the base of the lighter. The good thing about that, though, is once you set it, you can kind of forget it. You're not going to accidentally nudge it, and as long as you don't really change fuel types, you really shouldn't have to worry about having to recalibrate the flame height once you get it set. In regards to this diamond head model, I really like the texture of this version. I think the lacquer ones are great as well, but I just like that this gives you a little bit more of a textured feel and a little bit better grip, I thought. Now, in terms of competition, this is where it gets really interesting, as there are truly a number of options to compete with the ST Dupont Slimmy. Now, you can see a more full and detailed list in the review on halfwheel.com, but the Slimmy occupies this kind of unique spot. Now, in terms of function, both Vector and Vertigo offer fairly similar models with the side squeeze ignition and the smaller flat flame. Vertigo offers one called the Zephyr. It's $20-ish or so. Vector's is in the $34, $35 range. Now, that said, there are a few tweaks to that. The flame moves over to the other side of the body, and you will certainly notice a difference in the weight and the finish and things like that. I did manage to find a Vector Spade, which is an upgrade, and as you can see, the flame moves over to the left side. It adds a punch cutter. This one has a MSRP of about $45. Again, a little bit different style, adds the fuel window. But again, you can really get down to, $20, $30 if you're looking for a flat flame side squeeze ignition lighter like the Slimmy. Now, if you want to go up to the other end of the spectrum, there are plenty of options. There's the ST Dupont Megajet, which is about $265. Big wide flat flame, also from ST Dupont. But another option if you're looking for that. There's also the new Big D, or Biggie as they're being called, which came out alongside the Slimmy, Looks just like it, except it's a wider flat flame, a bigger lighter. That's priced at $425 to $450. And then you have options up and down the price scale with various features. You know, you have Vector's Icon series with its touch-sensitive USB-powered ignition. That's one option that's sort of along the way. And then you've got, you know, if you want slim, you have this option from Cassetti, which is an incredibly slim lighter. And even the flame even works. I mean, that is just, if you hold that side by side, you know, if you really are wanting a slim lighter, you have that option. And then you still have, although it's starting to fade away, one of my favorites, the Porsche design Heber, which is, as I am understanding it, coming down to its final number still on the market. The brand is basically out of the market. Only a handful of these are around and in limited colors. I did see some on Amazon for about $150, but in terms of a unique design, I love this pull down ignition up here. Again, smaller flat flame, but one of my favorite lighters and one that I am holding on to for as long as I can. But this just goes to show how much the flat flame segment has grown in recent years, as right now you have multiple companies putting out multiple options to choose from. You know, again, from a Vertigo at $20 to an ST Dupont for near $400. Now, if spending around $400 on a lighter doesn't bother you, the ST Dupont Slimmy is a solid option. It delivers the basic functionality very well. One of the better ignitions I've seen from ST Dupont recently. Fuel flow is locked on. No stray flame at the end there. Build is very solid. I haven't heard or seen a single thing move in the weeks that I've been using it. And again, the company does form very well as function. Now, if spending that much on a lighter isn't your thing, there are plenty of other great options out there to choose from. Some from DuPont, some from other companies. Definitely worth a look. And definitely, if you are into that flat flame or have been wanting to check one out, there are plenty of options with which to do so, as I do think it is a pretty neat way to light a cigar. So once again, this is the ST Dupont Slimmy. I'm Patrick LeGreed. Thanks for checking out this review. And remember, for the best coverage of the premium cigar industry, be sure to check out halfwheel.com.